Stream live
Live Okay, nice.
Hello, hello, hello. Are there any Ethiopians out there? Ethiopians out here? Any Eritreans out here? What are we doing here? Are we protesting? I don't hear you. I don't hear you. Let me hear your voice. I heard there was a protest here. All right, all right, all right. You guys know TPLF was begged, practically begged, right? By the government, by mothers who were weeping, asking them not to go take this path of war. But what did they say? They said war is their pastime. This is what they do all the time. But what are they doing now? They're hiding in the caves. They're hiding in the caves. And we're here to tell the Biden administration that the TPLF organization was offered peace multiple times, but they rejected it. They rejected it. We're here to say no more to TPLF. And we want them to free Tigray. Free Tigray from TPLF. The TPLF supporters say they want Tigray to be free. We agree. We want Tigray to be free from TPLF. We want Ethiopia to be free from TPLF. We want Eritrea to be free from TPLF. We want the Horn of Africa to be free from TPLF. We don't want TPLF. We say free Tigray from TPLF. When I say free Tigray, you say TPLF. Free Tigray. Free Tigray from TPLF. Free Tigray from TPLF. Free Ethiopia from TPLF. Free Eritrea from TPLF. Free the Horn from TPLF. Rid the world from TPLF. We don't want TPLF. We don't want TPLF. No more TPLF. No more TPLF. No more TPLF. Biden can't hear you. He's not here. He's in England. He's in England. You gotta be louder than that. Free Tigray from TPLF. Free Ethiopia from TPLF. Free Eritrea from TPLF. Free the Horn from TPLF. All right, all right. Let me introduce our first speaker for you guys. Thank you for coming here, by the way. We really appreciate it. I know it's hot. I know it's a Sunday. Thank you so much for joining us here. The first speaker is Morgan Artukina. I think I got that right. She's a journalist with Sputnik. Where's Morgan? All right, Morgan. Thank you. Here you go.
Thank you for coming out today. My name is Morgan. I'm a journalist. My friend Hermela here asked me to speak today about the distortions in the media that come. Oh, I'm standing right in front of the speaker. That come from the mainstream media that we've talked about already here today, about how CNN, the New York Times, Reuters, the BBC, they do not tell the truth about what's happening in Ethiopia and in the Horn of Africa, right? And so we're here to say that if the U.S. really wants peace, that in the Horn and in Ethiopia, as it says, that it needs to stop backing the TPLF. It needs to encourage peace talks, and we also demand that the media give fair coverage of what's happening. It's outrageous how much you have to hunt for the truth in the media to find out what's happening there. I think there are some of the signs around here today say, you know, end the misguided policy in Ethiopia. And I think that so much of that comes from the fact that the truth is just not in the news, right? If you read, there's so many front stories that deserve to be on the front page of the New York Times, on the front leading story on CNN, that you don't hear. Instead, what you hear is that a demonization of Ethiopia's first democratically elected government, right? You hear demonization of Eritrea for daring to plot an independent path, for daring to follow its own path, right? You don't hear about the theft of 500,000 liters of petroleum from the World Food Program in a place where there are people starving. That's not in the news anywhere. That should be a front page story, right? The fact that leaders of the TPLF went on Tigray TV and said the Americans told us to enter Addis. That's not on the front page. That should be front page news. So CNN is not reporting the news. The BBC is not, and the New York Times is not. And so we're out here demanding that they tell the truth. And that's why it's so important that rallies like this happen, that the No More movement has been going for more than a year now. And why you all out here today is because you're telling the truth. You're bringing the truth to the halls of power. I know Biden is not here, but there's a lot of people over there who will tell him what you all said today. So I just want to thank you for continuing to tell the truth and continuing to bring the truth and spread a message of peace, because we're not getting it from the mainstream media. And the only way that we can get that message of peace is to carry the message to the people ourselves. I guess that's all I have to say.
No, keep playing the music. Keep playing, keep playing.
The professor, he's here.
Oh, this is where.
Yeah, Taylor Miyabi.
Okay.
Out of focus. This is not a.
All right, no more. While we're waiting, we'll just go ahead and chant some more. We say no more to TPLF. We say no more to tyranny. No more. No more. No more. No more. All right, the next speaker we have is Professor Tiami Miyabe. All right, where's the professor? All right, thank you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Salam. I am not Ethiopian, but I know how to say salam.
You are African.
I am from Africa, and I'm very proud to be here among you guys, because Ethiopia symbolizes one nation. It symbolizes freedom. It symbolizes freedom. And I am serious to say that. Look, Egypt got colonized. Saudi Arabia got colonized. Bahrain got colonized. India got colonized. But guess what? Ethiopia. Never. So you symbolize what? Freedom. You symbolize freedom. Freedom not only for the continent of Africa, but freedom against colonialism. And colonialism took place in Asia. Colonialism took place in all over the world. But in Africa, there was one nation, right, that stood. People say sometimes, if you go on the internet and you look at how many countries in Africa never get colonized, you see 2 of them. I get mad. Because Liberia, it was reported as one of the nations never get colonized. But yet, Ethiopia fought, right? Because the European made one mistake. That mistake was that 300 years ago, or it's 1884, right? They got together, they said, we have a big cake. This cake is called Africa, right? And they had different pieces to be split among themselves, right? And then pieces, there are plenty of them. Some of them were called Congo pieces. I'm from Congo, by the way. So, some of them were called Congo piece. Some of them were called Togo piece. Some of them were called Mali piece, right? So the French says, we'll take Mali, we'll take Congo, right? And they gave a piece to England. They gave some pieces to Portugal. And they gave some pieces to other African countries. And you know what? There was a nation called Italy. And get what? They got what? They got a piece called Ethiopia, right? And then they dared to come to Ethiopia. And they dared to come to Ethiopia. And the Ethiopian stood and says, not in this country. We are a millennium country. A country with history. A country that stood longer than you guys ever stood. We will not let you. And guess what? We said what? Ethiopia prevailed against colonialism. So what we say to you is this. Ethiopia will prevail. Ethiopia will prevail. Ethiopia will prevail. Ethiopia will prevail against neo-colonialism. Ethiopia will prevail against the forces of abuse, Ethiopia will prevail because you always prevailed. Because you did it in 18 when the Battle of Adwa took place, right? When I'm repeating this, I want you to remember all the people who died. 5,000 people who died. 8,000 people, Ethiopians, who were hurt, wounded. So remember them as you're facing the issue today. And when it happened, everybody came together. The Amara, the Oromo, the Tigray, everybody came together as one nation, one people to stand for unity, for unity. Let me tell you one thing. In my country, Congo, the Kingdom of Congo, the king was killed at the battle. We fought against the Portuguese. Guess what? Some of the tribe collided with the Portuguese. And so therefore, they showed them the way around. And the king was circled and he died. Right? So I'm simply saying to you, it's only one thing that can maintain us. It's called unity. Unity. Ethiopia was able to defeat Italians because it was united among its people. The Amara, the Oromo, the Tigray, the Wea, I mean all of those guys, right? What do they call them? All the tribals that you have, right? The Afar, the Walaita, all of you got together. You fought one nation, one people. That's the only way we can do it. That's the only way. Remember guys, remember this. As we're facing these issues, it's only unity. It's only unity that can face it. Because all of us are facing one ideology. That ideology is called the white supremacy ideology, right? What we see today in America, the killings of people, right? Black people, is the same ideology that came to colonize for their own natural resources. So unless we come together, we're going to continue to suffer, just like the other African nations have continued to suffer. So we don't want that for Ethiopia, because you represent unity, you represent freedom, you represent a nation that defied the Europeans. You know, when Ethiopia beat the Italians, all the nations in the world, right? In all the people that were discriminated against, they saw the symbol. They came to Ethiopia and says, what? We want this country to be our model, right? That's what they said. And you cannot, you descendant of people who faced the Italian who defeated them, you cannot today allow what is taking place in Ethiopia to take place. You have to come together, work for something greater than your self-interest. Your self-interest, look, we have things that are happening in Africa. Africa is in the process right now as we're talking, right? There is a new colonization that is taking place right now in Africa. There's a new scramble for Africa. Why? Scramble for our natural resources, right? If you look at the natural resources, 90% of cobalt, what we use for our cell phones, what we use for our cars, comes from Africa. 90% of platinum comes from Africa. 75% of coltan comes from Africa. Africa is projected to be the youngest generations to come. It's the biggest market. And among all the markets in Africa, Ethiopia is the second most populated country in Africa. So therefore, those young people today, they need us. They need us to set something for them that is going to be for greater. So we have to fight for something that is greater than our self-interest. So I'm saying to you, Ethiopia must unite. 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 I'm not finished yet. I'm not finished yet.
Keep going, keep going.
I'm not finished yet. Guess what?
About the war supporting, for example, Ukraine. Middle East, what would happen? Everything.
Yes.
Professor.
Yes.
Tell U.S. interference supporting the terrorist group.
I'm coming there, brother.
Terrorists. Tell NATO interference.
I am coming there. So, usually when we come over here, right, we talk about democracy. We say, what we want, democracy, when do we want it now? But you know what? For when I sing for Ethiopia, what we want is unity. When we want it now. Right? What do we want? Unity! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Unity! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Unity! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Unity! When do we want it? Now! And we say, no more! No more! No more! No more! No more! No more! Africans will not going to be taken advantage of no I'm about to finish. But I cannot leave without mentioning this part. I'm gonna make some people uncomfortable. But you know, sometimes you gotta be uncomfortable in order to be well, right? And I want you guys, the leaders of Ethiopia, I'm talking to you. I'm not talking to the common people. The common people are ready to get together because I see my friends who are Oromo and Amara, they all get along. Some of them are half Amara, some of them are half Tigray. But you have one thing that you created in Ethiopia that is the worst of all kind. That thing you've created in Ethiopia, it's the similar as colonization. That thing that you created in Ethiopia is similar as colonization. And you know what is it called? Ethnic federalism. Ethnic federalism. Put an end to 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 ethnic federalism. Ethnic federalism is a killer. Ethnic federalism is colonization. Put an end to ethnic of colonialism. Put an end to ethnic colonialism. Put an end to ethnic federalism. Ethnic federalism is synonym to colonization. When you create state based on tribal, you are doing the same thing as Europeans did when they came to us and colonized us. It's unacceptable. Put an end to ethnic colonialism and let Ethiopians unite as one people as you were before and continue to be the nation of freedom, the nation of democracy. Let it be for Ethiopia and continue to be the model. On that note, my brothers and sisters, I will stand with you because you stood for us in Africa when other African countries were struggling. Thank you very much, my brother. I finished. Right, I forgot something. I may come back again to speak to you. But keep the unity of Ethiopian people. No more. No more. No more. No more. No more. No more. I'm done.
Voilà, that's good.
Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up.
Time for Tigrinya.
For your rights.
Time for Tigrinya. No. Time for Tigrinya.
Stand up. Don't give up the fight. Preacher man, don't tell me.
Time for Tigrinya speaker. Time for Tigrinya speaker.
Yes, what is it?